Hello. I'm wearing these because I had a migraine this morning that lasted like 3 hours, and now I got kind of like a lingering pain. Really sensitive to the lights, and so I'm just wearing these to kind of like, dim it. So in this video I want to talk about, discuss, share with y'all perspective about seeing life in an artistic way. I've talked about this before, but I kind of want to talk about it again because I experienced a lot of value from it, especially from getting, interpreted so many different ways by people over the last few videos. And I think we can use all things as good, or at least be able to appreciate them. So I'm going to share how I kind of see life and thereby have respect for all kinds of people and appreciate all kinds of people instead of depreciate or just, whatever. So this kind of comes in congruency and aggregation with Joe Rogan recently got, I need to have him on. I don't like doing it because it's like more impersonal, sorry, but I gotta wear these glasses. So Joe Rogan was getting kind of shit on by some mainstream media outlets for kind of like endorsing Bernie Sanders, even though he didn't. He just kind of said some things that he appreciated about him, and then, of course, the news outlets that don't want Bernie Sanders to win are gonna be like, fuck this Joe Rogan guy, his opinion shouldn't matter, blah, blah, blah. Generally speaking, do I fucking know exactly what's going on? No, but that's kind of what's going on. And I'll put a clip. There was a clip that played at the beginning of this video. If not, YouTube didn't let me do that, but I'll put a link to the clip in the description. It's Joe Rogan responds to Bernie Sanders endorsement controversy. One sentence stood out to me a lot in that, which was, you can clip together the worst aspects of somebody and paint them to be a terrible person. And vice versa, you can do the exact opposite too. I mean, there's videos out there of like Hitler being edited in a certain way where he just sounds amazing. There's videos doing the exact opposite, making a great person sound absolutely terrible. You can do anything you want with edits. And let me tell you, in our brain, in our experience in life, we literally edit shit all the time. So I was thinking, I responded, I put a comment on that video, I posted a community post on YouTube, and I was like, I said that quote, you can clip together the worst aspects of somebody and paint them to be a terrible person. And I was like, people who make staunch conclusions from limited or incomplete information are literally, by definition, ignorant. And I hate to break it to you, but the very nature of our existence as humans is a limited one. So how about we just chill the fuck out and choose to paint a beautiful painting, with everything that we got. We are naturally limited, Our senses can only sense a certain amount of things, and there's stuff happening beyond our senses that we don't quite understand, grasp. We can't even experience it to be completely actual, So I'm going to kind of like extend these sort of ideas into a more personal, interpersonal, human experience, and do my best to just speak truthfully, actually, and artistically. So let's see here. One thing that I discovered recently about that just came to my mind, in wonderment, in wandering of the internal dialogues and thoughts of things, was the natural truth. It's natural truth that with every position, there's a disposition. With every personality type, there's a disposition to that, We have natural beauty, and with that comes shortcomings, downfalls, whatever. With every position, naturally speaking, there is a disposition that which you are not, And to relate this to like the artistic experience, we can see everybody as a shade upon the spectrum of color. You know, something that comes to mind is if we were all to read the same book, everybody would have a different experience of it. And because of that, everybody would have a different understanding. Now, obviously, there's a lot of people who are very similar. It's like shades of green. You know, green has an understanding. Let's say this book equals the color of green. A lot of people are green. A lot of people are purple. But some people are like lime green. Some people are mossy green. Within the spectrum of color, there's literally an infinite amount of subtlety within it. And within our human experience, within all humans considering, right now we have billions and billions of different, you know, pieces along the spectrum, and nobody's the exact same. So, you know, I'm saying that we could see everybody as color. And I myself, speaking for myself, I want to be able to at least appreciate the existence of nature. I think nature in general is absolutely beautiful. I think it's rooted within all of us to see to see nature as beautiful. Now, why some people are unable to experience that goes into a whole massive concoction of things for which I don't understand, and most of us don't, and even the professions that are trying to understand why things happen, why personalities exist, why, you know, people act the way they act. That's totally, they don't quite understand it either. You know, psychology, sociology, everything's just like a best guess. You know. And beyond that, there's the whole spectrum of actuality that's happening. So, like, why somebody exists is, like, nearly infinitely subtle. You know? Everybody's, like, nearly infinitely subtly different. If not wildly different. If, you know, wildly the whole spectrum of things. Somebody could be extreme purple. Somebody could be, you know, dull yellow or something. I don't know, right? So with this thing, you know, I'm saying, like, so how about we chill the fuck out and choose to paint a beautiful painting? You know, I don't see any reason to just outright hate on a color or hate on a person. You know, there's a nature that is happening. It's happening. And we have the choice. We choose to experience how we want to experience things. And that's called reality, right? There's an actuality that's happening, and there's a reality that we create. Again, a lot of people share in the same sort of reality space, the same sort of color of reality. Some people are on opposite ends. The whole thing is wild, you know? It's nature. So I just wonder, you know, with our choice, you know, I just desire to see things as beautiful. I want to be able to admire people, because in that we can use something. We can appreciate a quality. You know, I don't want to define good and bad right now, and maybe not ever in my life. I don't know. Because I would rather just choose for myself to appreciate the happening, you know? Like, for example, this migraine. I was laying in bed a couple days ago. I'm pretty sure just to like provide some information about my migraine situation is, if I sleep too far into the day towards noon o'clock, if I start getting into the noon areas of, you know, sleeping into that time, the harmony of my body and the sunlight or something gets off kilter, and it just gets disharmonic or something, and I start getting migraines. And one morning, I was still tired, you know, like I woke up with a headache coming on, and I was like, here we fucking go, you know, because for me, migraines are like, they start weak, and then, you know, there's like going to be a peak, and it's going to come back down and whatever. So I'm like, well, here we go. Here's the ride of pain coming along, coming into my future. And I realized something actually really, really beautiful. And it's not easy to maintain this thought, this idea, this meditative happening that I was experiencing, which is I realized that this pain is showing me something, period. It's showing me something. And I was like, wow, I'm having I'm having literally in a sense of pain, I'm having a vision into my body that which would not ever be able to be known or experienced or perceived without the pain actually happening. So in essence, in actuality, pain is showing me something that which nothing else can. Pain is showing me something that pleasure cannot. With every position, there's disposition, And within every position, there's value. There is an actual truth that's happening. There is a foundational connection that is happening, that literally is, within everything. There's a foundational truth. So, that actually really helped me. And I've been trying to employ that meditative allowance when I have pain like this, and pain in general. I've kind of used this throughout my life, but it came into words kind of beautifully. Earlier, like 20 minutes ago, 30 minutes ago, I was like, the sentence came out in me, through me, let's say, which was, pain is showing me something that pleasure cannot, And I'm not saying I want to be in pain all the time, Not saying pain is inherently good, or actually not saying pain is only good, not saying pain is only bad. We have that choice in reality. We have that choice to experience the goodness or badness of things. Everything, from what I'm experiencing now, and I don't want to speak like I know, because I don't know. Entirely, I don't know. Nobody can know. Exactly. Especially, nobody can know. So I'm just speaking, about what I've been experiencing, and from what I've been experiencing, the more neutral I become, the more I allow things to happen, just in general. Like a bird flying past me, being neutral about it, just experiencing the senses while that bird is flying past me. There's a whole spectrum of happening that's happening. It's just happening. And so we get that internalization and influent, I guess that's like a made-up word, influent happening that's happening, from the outside inward, back out, the cycle, this, synergistic kind of like harmony thing. As this life is happening. The more neutral I become, the more I'm able to separate myself, myself, the complex of self, and just experience things as they are. Not as good, not as bad, not as this judgment, not as that judgment, not as this conclusion, not as that conclusion, just what is. Which is, what is a, I think what I'm trying to say is, we can experience the most when we simply allow it to go through us and to have it happen without any sort of cling on a particular thing, particular aspect, particular element of the thing. I think about a river analogy. I've said this before. We're all floating down the river of life, and you can choose to just sit back and experience it, or you can cling on for your fucking dear life and experience all the forces that come with that. There's still the turbulent waters are going to be pushing, making you want to flow. It's like, hey, the nature wants you to flow down this river, but we're choosing to just grip onto the roots of trees on the side banks, just gripping like, this is what it is. Like a judgment, like focusing on a particular thing when in actuality everything is happening. And You know, so the more neutral I am, the more I'm able to to connect with the truth and to not be reactionary, you know, but to actually be responsive and to be responsible and like responsible of my body, literally, you know. And just to apply this, I apply this philosophy, this thing into my creative loves, into my what I feel is going to be like work throughout my life, which is developing guitar skills, musical skills, and expressing myself, you know? And I've noticed while listening to people, listening to life, while listening to songs, listening to life, while just experiencing, I'm able to gain more insight. I'm able to gain more literal experience. I'm able to have more experience when I just let myself surrender to the passing of the experience that's happening. It's like when I'm listening to music, if I stop thinking whatever the fuck I'm thinking for the moment and just like surrender, and I've said it in person to people before, kind of like comedically. I don't know if I've said it in video, but it's like just letting yourself get fucked by life, you know? Now, some people are not very good at letting that shit happen, but it can be quite a pleasurable thing. And so like when I let myself just listen to music, for example, and I just surrender and experience, I'll start to integrate the rhythm, the melody, the harmony, you know, all of the things together that's happening in the music, instead of like holding on to like a judgment or just like a thought from the day that's happening, you know, like, oh, this happened 3 hours ago, I'm wondering about that. Like, instead of being in that space, for which would make me focus limitedly in the music, you know, because I'm like grabbing on a particular thing and just focusing how this applies. And well, you know, when you're focusing on just one thing, you're only going to apply life in one way, so to speak. Or if you're focusing on only a few things, you're only applying your experience of life in a few ways, you know? However, on the flip side, if you are just simply experiencing, allowing, surrendering, you're absorbing everything sensible, you know? Everything sensible. If you just let yourself be sensitive and not grab on. Because what happens when you grab on in the passing moments? Like when you meditate, for example, or life's just happening. Think about this in thought form. You're driving home and you have the opportunity to just peacefully drive home and experience the surrounding and the passing of space, distance, time. You could just be doing that. But then what happens when you have that intrusive thought and you get stuck in it? All of your sensitivity goes pew, right into that thing. And literally you just start focusing on that thing. And then blindness happens all around you. You don't even know what happened. You don't even know what you passed on the street. You don't even know the colors that you could have seen. You don't even know, because you've been focusing on a thing. And not to say focusing on a thing is bad. There's a lot of value in being precise, in being, you know, focused, and in being specialized. There's plenty of value in that, you know. But I've noticed when you're in a stage of absorbing, when you're in a stage of learning, I've found that it's best to just experience without grabbing on and like getting caught up in your past and things like that, which is like part of the benefit of meditating. You know, practice the flow. Yoga stuff too, practice the flow. Because the more you can be at ease and in flow of life, the more you're going to internalize, the more you're going to aggregate within yourself, the more connections you're going to make, the more sensitive experiences are going to be possible for you in the future too. So you know, something that just comes to mind is like, I believe in myself. I know I've experienced the happening of my life, for which I only can say for myself. And you can't say you know what's going on within me. It's total baloney. You can conceptualize and wonder about it, but you're never going to know the actuality. You're just going to know your reality of it. But like, I believe in myself to do great things because, I mean, it's what I'm fucking working for, and to do anything, I'm practicing nature in such a way that no matter what I do, it's gonna be rich. It's gonna be a wealthy experience. I'm talking about the experience is wealthy within the internalization of things, within the absorption of things. It's wealthy. So I can't help but think, you know, probabilistically and think scientifically, mathematically, and being like, yeah, pretty sure I'm gonna do all right. You know, I'm only 23. Like, I'm like never satisfied and satisfied at the same time. You know, that's might be a good thing to be in. So there's momentum, but you're not like, you know, just like always unhappy. But so artistically, you know, I talked about one time of like, if you don't like a color, don't use it. That's okay, but at least appreciate that nature has provided you that color. So without it, you would not know that thing, for example, and without it, you wouldn't know the other side of things. You know, like if you were just in pleasure all the time, it'd be pretty great, maybe. But like you would have no bearing, you would have no understanding of depth if you didn't have a spectrum of things, like pain on the, you know, pain to extreme pleasure, whatever, like mass suffering to ecstasy, whatever. So like we have a choice every moment of our lives to experience a reality that we want for ourselves. And so like there's like just there's so much peace in being able to be like, you know, I don't really feel like painting with brown. Let's just say, I'm just saying figuratively, I don't really want to paint with brown, but you know what? Brown is like the color of a good shit. Do you know how much nutrients are in there? Like, do you know how well that can fertilize the landscape? You know? Like, shit isn't just stinky. It's fucking gorgeous in a certain kind of way, you know? And so we have this opportunity. And if you don't want to see something that is seen terribly bad for most people as being a good thing for yourself, or a good thing for that's just happening, if you don't want to extend to that possibility of, for example, saying like, if you don't want to like proclaim or bring it up in conversation that terrorism has good qualities for it, I don't know, but it's the natural happening is a spectrum of goodness and badness. It's all, we're all perceiving things. There's so many different interpretations. There's billions and billions of interpretations of things. And so if you don't want to like go that far into being like, there's a good quality in this absolutely terrible thing that is happening, serial killers, whatever, rapists, whatever. If you don't want to go that far, and like, you know, that would probably sound a little crazy to many people. You could at least, at that point, just come to a sense, a peacefulness within yourself. That, oh, well, you know, nature's happening. You know, I guess I have the responsibility to do whatever I feel is necessary for me to do what I feel I want to do in life. You know, if you don't like the rapist, go do something about it, you know? If it's to that extent for you, then go do something about it. Then it's good. It's all good. I mean, you're doing good. That's good. I mean, if you don't want to go that far, then you can at least be in like a neutral space where you don't have to be entangled by stuff that you don't want to be entangled by. I'm not saying entanglement is all bad. I'm not saying attachment is all bad. You know, sometimes you need that to be precise, to be specialized. You know, you need to entangle yourself a little bit sometimes. Maybe. I'm not sure exactly, but I'm not saying entanglement's bad. I'm not all bad or all good. I'm not saying attachment's all bad or all good. But if you have the ability to see both sides, you can at least choose neutrality for yourself. I'm talking for yourself. You don't have to go be one thing or another. You can just be, you know what? That's all right. In me, it's all right. So, you know, I share this video just to hopefully give some inspiration or something to just like choose for yourself the way you want to experience life. And if you go into it respectfully, you're going to be a respectful person, you know? And again, there's billions and billions of people with billions of neurons, and each neuron connecting in thousands of different ways. Do you know how many connections there are happening in the brain? And every moment, in every person. Do you know how much subtlety that is? It's like trillions of subtlety, you know? To the trillionth of subtlety, there's fucking subtlety happening. Maybe even beyond that, you know, because we don't understand it all. But we know that there's billions of neurons and there's thousands of connections with every neuron. It's freaking nuts in there. It's nuts. But regardless, it's fucking beautiful, you know? Like, we are nature. Like a mountain, like a river, like a forest, like everything else that is beautiful, that which, you know, nature, I think, is inherently beautiful. We're part of it. It's our home. Like, it has to be a loving sort of thing. It has to be a one with sort of thing. And so our human happenings, the spectrum of humanity that's happening, is just like the environment. This kind of river, that kind of river, this type of sediment deposit, that type of sediment deposit, this kind of color, that kind of color, this kind of texture, that kind of texture. Everybody is made up of elements like that, you know? And I don't, you know, I'm just somebody who wants to love and appreciate as much as I can in this life, you know? And that's what I want to do. I want to love and appreciate, you know? And from that perspective, from that desire that I have, I just wish, you know, like, how about we chill the fuck out and choose to paint a beautiful painting, you know? And do I have the answers to society and culture and how it should evolve and how we should implement jails and how we should, you know, socially form everybody? Do I fucking know how to do that? Hell no. Like, we're doing our best. Even the people who are like masters, so to speak, in social reform and shit like that, they don't know exactly how to do it. We're all just doing our best. And so I really don't know what's good and bad, what's necessary for our social dynamics and for the planet and stuff. But what I do know, the necessities of nature, we can understand that, the nature. You know, creation is almost like, it's like an attempt to extend beyond our present moment and advance into territory that we are quite unsure about. And that's kind of interesting, because when we create improvisationally, there's such a magical state that you have to suspend yourself in, where you need to have a certain grasp of what's happening, but also you need to be free from it too, to just let that creative energy happen and flow through you. So I'm doing my best to maintain, to uphold the natural happening the natural laws, if you want to say that, what's happening, you know, so that we can be at ease with what's happening instead of in tension, you know? And, because wouldn't that just be, it seems like it would be better if we were at ease, I think. You know, some people, but exercise too, you know, tension is a part of growth. You know, we have this tension amongst communities and something happens, war, conflict, whatever, it happens and we grow from it. Quite literally in social ways, we grow from it in physical space, you know, country to country, border things happen, we change, we grow, whatever, we learn. With tension comes growth. And so I'm just doing my best to show the light of things, you know, to be able to allow people, to hopefully inspire people to choose to appreciate, and or at least just be at ease. You know, if your tension in life is one of battling the bad in the world, if that's how you want to get your exercise, then that's for you. Go for it, you know? That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And so, you know, we're not all for everything. With every position, there's disposition. You know, some person has the ideas and some other people carries it out, you know? It can happen like that. And so I'm just trying to say, I guess, like, we have the ability to appreciate everybody. And again, if it's your fucking mojo to go battle the terrorists, do it. That's beautiful. You're doing so much. You're providing so much value to the natural happening of things. And that's incredible. Like, truly, so much credit. It's incredible. And, you know, if you're not the kind of person, then you're not. At every position, there's a different position. It's disposition, you know? So I just wish people could be at ease with some things. But I understand if you're not, you know, because that may be your duty to carry out a function of nature. And that's great. That's great. That's really great. You know? That's cool. I think to conclude, you know, I'm just to reflect on the experiences of a couple videos ago. I told a story of a time that I cheated on my girlfriend, which was more about a spiritual experience that was happening during that process than me being happy or proud of fucking having sex with somebody. Like, I didn't even talk about that. That wasn't even, I just mentioned it. Didn't even describe it, just mentioned it. And people were in, so I'm just reflecting, this video is kind of inspired by that. I'm just reflecting on the kind of responses that I got, because I read them all, I experienced them, and I wondered about them. It's a big challenge, by the way, to be like personally, just to like have plenty of people disregard your human happening as, or just to regard the human happening as something that's bad, like just absolutely, it's bad. It's like, it's a big challenge, because like, hey, just playing out what's happening here with love. If you could hear that, it was with love. Some people don't understand, you know? And so I'm trying to give people the opportunity to be able to express their preferences, to be the color that which they are, but to hopefully at least come back and admire and appreciate something. You know, because it's like when we define a part of our ecosystem as being bad, and we kill it, we destroy it, and all of a sudden, oh shit, that was connected to that, 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 and holy fuck, that's actually harming us now. You know? And with the words that some people were sharing with me, I could tell that they were in pain to some degree. And maybe that's my duty in a way, or that's my battle, that's my thing, is to help people be at ease with the pain. Not to say that pain doesn't exist, not to say that you're bad or at fault, but just to say that we can be at ease with this. You know, do what you got to do, express yourself, you know, be the color that which you are. You have that responsibility. Literally, you have that responsibility for you to be you. And I just, you know, I've had some of the most beautiful moments in my life when I was at ease. When people around me were at ease. Some of the most beautiful moments. The jokes are funnier. The human touch is lighter. It's not so worrisome. You know, I've had, and because of that, because of those experiences, I carry a desire to inspire that for other people. So that when you're hanging around, you're talking shit, you're expressing ideas, you're talking to people with different ideas, you can at least just be at ease and experience more value, you know, instead of a more limited one. And that'll go a long way. I'm thinking about the creative happenings of things. You know, the more you can absorb and use, the more you can experience is valuable, the more valuable you are. I mean, think about that. The more value you experience, it's like literally you're more valuable. You're literally more wealthy with experience. You're just full of wealth. That reminds me of somebody was talking, I was listening to somebody on the internet, maybe it was Joe Rogan or something, but it's like, it's people who have very staunch, hard ideologies and perspectives. I'm imagining a conversation happening in a room right now with a group of people. That person who's just stuck in their way of things and can't imagine other possibilities, not very many people want to be around them. You know? They're like, you know, it's like, okay, we get to your fucking story already. Can you do something else? Can we share something else? You know? Just to say it like that. You know? But on the other hand, the people who are like able to share in the values of things with all sorts of people, people want to be around that, you know? People want to be around that. People don't want to be around the people who are like, this is exactly what it is and there's no other fucking way. People don't like being around that shit. It's like, whoa, man. Can we just like hang out? You know? And you know, I had to really look at myself in my history a little bit, with a lot of people calling me from the cheating video, a lot of people saying this fucking guy's a narcissistic asshole. There's no way there's any good in this shit. You're doing bad, you know? I had to look back on myself and be like, damn, am I a narcissistic asshole? And it's like, and I had to really wonder about that, because I'm a person who is quite happy being alone a lot of the times. I'm just happy with it. You know, it's just kind of who I am. And I don't need a lot of social things in this time of my life. In this time of my life, let's frame it like that, because that's true. Maybe it'll change. But, you know, I don't look for people. I don't go to people to look for wisdom all that often, or like, you know, things like that. And so I'm like, damn, am I just like a narcissistic fucking asshole? And then I considered that thing that I heard, which is like, people don't want to be around people who are just formed. And I looked at myself again and realized, you know what? People regularly call me sweet. People regularly like being around me, you know? And it's like, okay, well, that's pretty cool, I guess. I just don't choose to be around that many people, you know? And it's unfortunate that people have to like create this reality in their head, a staunch, it's almost stanky, like the word's almost stanky in the nature of it. It's fucking staunch, baby. It's fucking staunch. And you know, it's no doubt that staunch people want to be around staunch fucking people. It's no doubt that with the internet especially, you can find thousands of other people who are like exactly angry in the same way that you're angry, or exactly formed in the same way that you're formed, or exactly judgmental in the same way that you're judgmental. There's forums and fucking Reddit subreddits for that shit. Thousands and thousands of people where you can feel actualized, legitimized, correct in your thinking. But let's just look for yourself in your own life. How is the experience of other people happening? How are they experiencing life as they're around you? You know? How are they experiencing life? Are they in pain? Are they in pleasure? Are they at ease? Are they at this or are they at that? You know? People are usually at ease with me. Usually. And if I sense otherwise, I make it an effort to allow things to be at ease. I go out of my fucking way to share care for this other person that's happening in words and in understanding, you know? Or in at least attempt to understand, because that's a caring thing. And at the same time, you know, reflecting upon a 2-hour video that I posted where I talked about cheating for maybe 5 minutes of it, people are, it's fucking crazy to me that people will create a reality for themselves where they say, out of 5 minutes, out of 2 hours, out of somebody's fucking life, this is who they are, this is what's happening. And that's just unfortunate. That's just totally unfortunate. Literally unfortunate. No fortune and there's little fortune. Unfortunate. You know? So yeah, I hope the best for everybody. You know, I really appreciate everybody. Just like this pain in my head right now. It's showing me something that I would never be able to see otherwise. And with you know, contradictory natures, some people showing me how they think about something that isn't how I think about it. They're showing me something that I would never know otherwise. And I appreciate that. Absolutely, totally, I appreciate that. In no other way would I be able to experience that without you. And I appreciate that. So I just want haters to know that. And I also want, that I appreciate you. I also don't appreciate you, but I appreciate you. There's a whole thing going on, spectrum happening. You know, I'm not just one or the other. I'm fucking doing as much as I can to be as much as I can. So, again, I'm not going to use fucking brown when I want to use purple. I love purple. It's, you know, I actually do. It doesn't mean I'm only going to use purple. It doesn't mean I'm never going to use brown. But there's preferences, there's tendencies, there's ways of being at ease with the natural happening and passing of time and space where some people don't need to be around brown, some people need to be around brown, you know? And that's cool. That's the spectrum. It's fucking happening. The natural spectrums of all fucking elements and possibilities of things are happening. So, yeah, I believe that's it. Yeah, I think I did all right in that. Shout out to the epic fucking palindrome that was yesterday, which was 02022020, and backwards 02022020. How fucking nuts is that? It doesn't happen for 1,000 years. like 1,000 and what is it, 1,300 years or 1,030 years, 1,010 years technically. 1,010 years, 1 month and 1 day or something like that. It's not gonna happen ever again for 1,000 years. It's just kind of cool. Yeah, shout out to everybody being cool and awesome, and hope you're all doing well, or at least at ease. Some shit sucks. Some things isn't what we prefer to be, and you gotta use that like an exercise, or use it however the fuck you want. But you know, I'm doing my best just to find value in things, you know, so that I can use it to share the truth, the whole truth, not just one-sided. And with that, I suppose that's it. That's all I gotta say, I think. Thank you. If you made it to the end, that's pretty epic. Guess I was something for you. That's cool. And yeah, I'm gonna go be in pain some more. This headache is lingering, man. Woo! Fucking sucks, man. It's fascinating in some regard, for sure. All right. Adios. God bless. May you have a beautiful day. And until next time, same as always. Peace. Much love. And thank you. Thank you for being here. Peace.